You took away her innocence to the point that I don't even know her anymore. You took my sister away from me, and I will never forgive you. I will fight for all women, but I especially fight for her.
I taught my daughter about stranger danger. As it turns out, the real monster was the teen brother of her best friend in 5th grade. I failed as a parent and protector of my most precious asset. We did not come into this world to be abused. We came to be loved and appreciated. We need to learn how to ask for help. If we don't, it will not come.
On my knees, asking God to release you from what you did so that I can live and smile again. I am finally free.
In memory of a young woman who was a mother, daughter, sister, and a good friend, who was murdered in 2013 due to domestic violence.
Angry, hurt, trapped, powerless, confused, stuck. And finally I had courage to have a voice to say, enough.
Stepdad. Verbal, emotional, and psychological abuse causes no self-esteem. Boyfriend. When he is powered by alcohol, anger, and adrenaline, there is nothing you can do to stop him from beating you. Husband. If he is going through your calendar, going through your caller ID, reading your email, and trying to control who you talk to and are friends with, this is abuse.
Older male relative, went on for years. No one knew. Why would a 14-year-old boy be paying so much attention to a younger cousin? No one looked for it, no one looked at it, no one suspected, no one helped. By 12, I was old enough to get away on my own. Nothing happened to her, but when I told you about his comments, you laughed. Fuck you, you fucking enabler.
Marriage does not equal implied consent. Apologies and gifts do not excuse abusive behavior. People will blame you. Get out anyway. When you leave, never look back. The future is ahead of you.
You make it hard to trust another. Make me view others as demons. Took my innocence and threw it away. Make me want to hide in the shadows. But I am coming out a survivor.
I still run into him on our small campus most days. Every time my stomach still drops, every time I resist the urge to cry or scream, a constant reminder of my darkest days, each time I fight hard to stay light.
I was the victim of child molestation and domestic violence. I let the abuse control my life. I decided to be a survivor. Now, no one can hurt me.
I was physically forced to give a young man a blowjob. I kept that secret for 45 years. At the time, I felt shame, humiliation, and disgust. Now, shame on him, not me.
It started when I was 3. My mother married a man for security who sexually abused me for the next 15 years. I married a man for love. He was the first person I ever told. We are married 52 years now. Good, happy years. My core, my inner child was damaged, never to be completely healed. I am a Christian. I'm happy, but the pain remains.
The son of a prominent man in the city where I lived raped me when I was 22 years old.
It's been over a year now, but sometimes I still have nightmares. I'm trying to feel safe in my body again.
You pig! You tricked me. Said you wanted to comfort a little girl's itchy back. Instead, you put my face into your naked crotch. Took me years of therapy to believe that you are the pig, not me.
I was given some kind of drug at a bar and woke up with a hairy monster. I have no idea what happened. He was sleeping and I snuck out of the room. A policeman picked me up and asked if I was okay. I gave him my address and he drove me home, never to tell anyone. I think I was around 19 years old. I never forgot it.
We all bury the bad stuff, and in my work, I see lots of bad stuff.
Repeat victim since age of 3. Raped by team in 1963 while at college. Attempted rape at 69 years old. Affected all relations throughout life, resulting in drugs, alcohol.
There is a world full of good men that respect and encourage women. Find one and have a great life.
I was 20, in my front yard watering flowers. A man had pulled up to the curb in a car and waved me over. Thinking he needed directions, I walked up and looked in the car. He was jerking off. Horrified, I turned and ran into the house. I've always wished my reaction hadn't been the one he wanted. I wish I had pointed at his dick, laughed, and said something like, "Are you really proud of that little thing?"
Years of dissociative interruptions, therapy, and body flashbacks. Horrible thoughts and feelings. A puzzle I no longer work to solve in times I can't remember. Shocked, undefeated, sick, forced, brutalized, confused, choked, torn, bruised, gross.
Mid-December 1986, planning for family Christmas. Daughter said, "I won't be coming if B is there. Brother-in-law raped me in 1974 when I was 18. 43 years later, no admission, no apology, years of anguish."
I was 18 in a car with a boy I didn't know very well, the friend of a friend. The car was parked on the bank of a creek that had recently flooded, and there was a steep drop-off into the creek. He told me that if I didn't have sex with him, he was going to drive the car off the cliff into the creek. I thought that was ridiculous and laughed at him. That pissed him off, and he didn't say a word all the way back to town from Beulah.
Holding the secret took its toll on my health. Each time it happened, I left my body. Coming back was the hardest. Being present took me 40 years and 10 years of group therapy. The body definitely holds the score.
In the summer of my freshman to sophomore year in high school, I was held down by a boy in broad daylight in his front yard and sexually molested.
I'm not crazy. Stop begging me back. Stop using me. This isn't me.
It wasn't until my ex-husband put a gun on the headboard of our bed that I realized I was always afraid of him. That new threat abruptly rescued me from my amnesia. I suddenly remembered the times he hurt me before. In that moment, I planned my escape.
I was 23. At the end of a bad date, he made advances, and when I fought him off, I can still see the ferocious anger in his face. But I got away.
Domestic violence is cyclical. Abuser acts out, then is remorseful, and promises never to lay hand on you again, usually followed by a period of calm. Violence again rears its ugly head. Lather, rinse, repeat.
A naive teenage girl walking to a friend's house on a clear summer afternoon. A seemingly lost older man pulling his car to the curb asking for directions. A girl getting close enough to the passenger window to address the sole occupant behind the wheel. A man exposing himself to the girl. A not-so-naive, upset girl hurries away. No harm done, you say? I say harm done.
You can never do anything bad enough to deserve it. No one should cause others physical harm. Love does not hurt.
We were married. It was part of my wifely duties. But as I lay there crying after, saying no several times, I thought, maybe he doesn't really love me. How could he if he felt compelled to continue anyway? Our marriage was never the same.
I always kept quiet. I felt embarrassed to even admit my own blood would make you feel so uncomfortable in your own skin.
My mom was a victim of sex trafficking at 14, as was my niece at the same age. I became sexually active at 14, as if by choice.
I was 18 years old. All I did was go to sleep. I awoke to his hand creeping up my leg into my pants. He was my cousin.
What was it about me that made them know I was a safe target?
Assault is not a new story. My ex-boyfriend was an expert, but I'm beginning to heal myself, and I'm sure karma is a deadly thing.
Fear, unworthiness, disgust, helpless, sad, frigid, unwilling to live into my beauty in fear of unwanted attention.
You made it difficult to believe that family was everything. You made it hard to trust. You gave me false truths about love and family. You took my childhood away.
In my 30s, I walked out the back door at work, and 2 boys in their 20s that worked there grabbed my butt. I angrily turned and said, "Don't you ever touch me again." They knew by the look in my eyes and the tone of my voice that I meant it. I wish old, confident women could teach young girls how to say, "Stop it," in a way that entitled boys would understand.
Innocence is forever lost. My heart blackened until alcoholism required a spiritual recovery. The loss turned into my biggest gift. Such is the irony of life and the resiliency of the soul.
This mantra was given to me from a clairvoyant whom I was doing some healing work with. I find it very comforting, and perhaps others can find strength in it as well. I am loved and a daughter of the light. I no longer walk in shadow.
He said I wanted it. He said it was freaky. He said he didn't mean it. He was a rapist.
At age 15, I sewed a yellow dress. I wore it on a train ride home from Chicago. Never could I have imagined that a man sitting next to me would slide his hand under my thigh and leave it there for the next hour. No one prepared me to know what to do or find words to say no. I just stared ahead in absolute shame.
Silence is a problem with the members of my family about the women who have suffered abuse by the hands of relatives put in a position of trust. The silence ended with me. Although I had to see my abuser every holiday until I turned 18, I no longer have to put myself through past trauma, and I can speak out against it for myself.
I was raped. Some things will never go back to how they used to be. Happiness is the new rich. Peace is the new success. Kindness is the new cool. I will not be afraid of what is new.
I asked Mother in an atrium on Broad Street why my brother is 12 years older. She says she stopped having relations with Father because of his running around. One spring evening, a shadow spread across sheets she'd just finished changing. He unbuckled his belt, tied her hands to the headboard.
First encounter, I was 11 years old, and my brother was the perpetrator. Then a cousin and my brother's friends. This made it easy for the next man, at age 14, a 40-year-old boyfriend of my mom's. My brother's act was the grooming to accept it as normal, and at 22, I chose to stop being the victim and call it molestation and begin to heal my soul.
Because of you, I slept with my shoes on, so I was always ready to run. Because of you, I tried killing myself 4 times. Because of you, I lost my job, family, and home. Because of me, I am better.
Listen, learn, and then love. Grandfather, neighbor, friend, teacher, there is no such thing as a safe man.
I know I wasn't sober, but I know I said no. Sometimes when I kiss, I still see his face. I have 2 younger sisters. I hope it gets better.
You were my hero, and I felt so safe with you. You took that away from me the night you decided to penetrate me and make me kiss and touch your penis. I was 10. I was your princess, and you destroyed that, Dad.
Went to a party at a friend's in Chicago. Decided to go to sleep early. Woke up with a stranger's finger inside me. He called me a slut because I wouldn't have sex with him.
Chris Christopherson and Rita Coolidge sing Me and Bobby McGee in the spring of 1971 in a small club on the Main Line not long after they met. I was used to concerts of smooth melodies and harmony, but Chris's ragged voice, fueled from morning to night by drink, combined with Rita's soaring Cherokee vocals, confused me. Same as the Philadelphia crossed by trolley streets that bounced me into tracks because Volkswagen tires fit perfectly, and the only way out was to jerk the wheel in a hard right to the curb, like what it took to leave home at 17 to go live with a father I hardly knew, but at least safer than a stepfather who wielded a knife and pillow over our faces as we slept.
Just these 4 words that my ex-husband used to say to me all the time, and I believe them long after our divorce parting. I feel that I have overcome these words today, but they still radiate in my brain when I do certain things or make important decisions on things. You are so dumb. It's not okay, not ever your fault. Do not go silent. Report it.
For more than 40 years, I felt stupid, weak, ashamed, guilty, and that I was overreacting. Eventually, I allowed myself to call it date rape. Finally, this perspective. If a woman steals a man's wallet during a date, they don't call it date theft.
I was 19. I was a virgin. You and your 3 friends changed my life forever.
Claiming sovereignty over my own body is not rejection of you or feminist of me. It's just my body.
Believe in yourself. You are worth more. You are strong. You can do it. Love does not hurt.
It was not my fault, despite church and family and friends telling me it was. You were wrong, and so was he. Sorry it took me 30 years to know this.
You stole my innocence just as yours had been taken. You taught me that my body wasn't my own, and you taught me shame and guilt. That pain and knowing yours taught me to forgive.
What kind of creep is it who thinks he is entitled to grab me upon a whim and expects me to tolerate the act?
I was 8 years old. Why did you leave me alone with him?
My daughter was raped when she was 16. It was an event that divided all things into 2 parts, before rape and after rape.
The worst thing about watching the impact of rape on a friend is that victims often can't open up to gain the rewards of healing. As a friend, sometimes you are the one who sees which road survivors take based on what happened to them years ago. Try to speak up and get it out. I will sit beside you and listen. It gets harder each year for me to pretend that there was no impact on you. I cannot even use my real name because I am entrusted by my sister-in-law, a victim, to not share her story or unveil her. I have kept her safe, but yet I can see how much she is now in a mini prison.
No meant no. It always meant no. You did not hear, You did not listen, did not care, did not respect. You hurt me not just once, but for years and years. No always means no.
Around the age of 6, an older boy tried to play doctor, and I knew that was wrong. My parents found out, and I got a spanking. Found out early in life, keep my mouth shut. Makes one tough and able to handle anything.
Walking my dog one morning, I noticed I was being followed. The car would watch me walk by and then drive a block up and wait for me to pass. I finally caught on the guy was masturbating. I saw a cop car parked, so I approached the cop car, and it was a chick. She was as big of a jerk-off as the guy himself. That's why victims stay quiet.
How dare you, bullying me into sharing this painful thing with you after spending months watching me suffer in silence and not asking a single question as to what is going on. How dare you attempt to strip me of my voice by saying I can't share my truth with anyone because someone else would like to see you suffer. I dare you co-opt my story and my pain to make other people feel bad for you. My rape does not, in fact, impact you more than it does me, Mom and Dad. Shame on you for trying to make me believe that it does.
Okay, I was expecting to get laid because this foolish, insecure girl expected this on all my dates. But there was nothing consensual or even sexual about it.
You damaged me. I wasn't believed. You have no control over me. I'm living my life.
Babysitting at the age of 12, adult relative came over and called me in from outside with children and grabbed me and fondled me and kissed me. Was frightened to tell anyone because of threat from him.
How dare you? I should have been able to trust you. Father figure? You defecated on those words. I hated you. I still hate you.
Shame. 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 Shame.
I am valued. I am capable. I am worthy. I am strong.
The first time you pushed me down, I lay victim, cried in disbelief. The next time I decided to defend myself, breaking all of my long fingernails back. It wouldn't be the last time I would go toe-to-toe with you. After 6 months, I was looking at a stranger in the mirror. I lost myself. Get out of this, I told myself. And I did.
In college, I really liked him. We both drank too much. I didn't want to go that far. It did, and I don't remember everything. But I know it did, and it was rough, really rough. I never reported it because I liked him, and I had been flirting. It was my fault, right? I'm the one that put myself there, but that's not what I wanted. I always wondered, how many did he do this to? I was date raped. My uncles were reported to have participated in a gang rape of a young girl during World War II. My uncle was molested by a relative. My mother-in-law was molested by her uncle. My girlfriends each have their own story of rape. Why do we keep all of these secrets? How to talk about 10 years of abuse in a concise story? Sometimes hell is here on earth.
Balls, cried the queen. If I had two, I'd be king.
View the world differently. Sad, no trust. View men different, or vice versa. Being free in the world, and cats, cats, cats.
Where are you now? In some random bar spiking another girl's drink?
Coming to a place of refuge truly lets me realize that angels are in our midst. Be careful to entertain them.
He pinned me down in the passenger seat of his car and started to unzip my pants. When I squirmed and fought, he told me that it turned him on even more. My shouting and tears eventually made him stop, most likely for fear that someone would walk by and notice. Several years later, he sent me a message on social media saying that I still owed him one.
You were 5 years older than me. I was only 14. I said no. The whole time you ignored me as blood fell from your nose on the top of me. I blamed myself, and it disgusted me. So how did you become my boyfriend? Sick.
You shattered my heart. You made me afraid to let anyone in. You taught me that I should fear family. You made me miss my entire childhood.
We were just two queer girls in the same psych class. We ran into each other at a party. I blacked out before you kissed me. I don't know everything that happened. In class, you laughed about dragging me to bed half conscious. You left me a note telling me I was beautiful. I was too drunk, not fucking okay.
The church said it was my fault because he couldn't keep his hands off me. I needed to pray for forgiveness. Hell no, not now, not ever was it my fault. I am 72 and this happened 58 years ago.
At 13, I thought it was my fault. At 43, I know it was not. This distinction has made a big difference.
Only 3 people know. He was a trusted adult. I don't remember most of it. It still has awful repressions.
I thought it would be sexy. I thought you'd be gentle. I thought I was the smart girl. I thought the pain would be gone by now.
He taught me to value others over myself. Silence, painful, guilty pleasure. He stole my innocence, my friendship with my sister. He gave me shame, embarrassment, a lifetime of isolation from family, anger and pain.